What we're going to do is, after we do the panel questions, and then we're going to open the microphone to you, the audience, where you can ask some questions. So feel free. We want this to be discussion. One of the things I want to get out of this meeting between us is just a better understanding of hip-hop's culture, the history, and, you know, me being an older hip-hop head, I'm more mature. You know, I know where I stand, but I feel there's a disconnect with the youth and what they're experiencing right now. So, you know, we're just going to have fun. It's going to be a very interactive segment. The panelists, I want to throw some questions at the panelists. They're going to answer them from their heart. And then we're going to open up the mic, like I said, to you guys. So feel free to write some questions down. If you need a pencil, let me know. Because at the end, we're gonna open the floor to you. You guys ready? I hope. No, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna introduce yourself, say what you do, but also your first experience with hip hop. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm starting off. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen?
Hi.
My government is Dana Bradley, but my nickname is Danger. I am a event planner, promoter, entrepreneur, and fan of hip hop. Let me see. My first introduction to hip hop, I would say, would be the breakdance and graffiti side of things. I used to have a tag back in the days, Clash. I was a bad boy, spray painting on buildings and stuff like that. My little trademark was doing the characters with the big sneakers, the big hands, and all that stuff. And I used to get my little breakdance on. So that was my first introduction right there. I'm gonna pass the mic.
How's it going, y'all?
Hi.
My name is Nomadik, also known as Narcotic. I'm an MC from Malden. So my first introduction with hip hop, I'd have to say, is chilling in my room with my brother and my friends, and they started freestyling with each other. I started picking it up, and after that, that was it. You know what I mean? That's just what started it all.
My name is Jesse, aka Catch Break. I'm an MC and an activist from Roxbury. And my first introduction to hip hop was I listened to a lot of music that my older sister listened to back in the days, so like Busta Rhymes, How you guys doing? My name is Nomadik, and I'm I'm an entrepreneur, graphic designer, and I got introduced to hip hop with graffiti. I started off with graffiti too, then I branched off doing graphic design and getting paid for it.
And you know, as I mentioned, we are going to have more panelists join us. I thought I was going to have a trouble finding young panelists, but not to put you on the spot, Danger, but he's representing the more mature hip-hop individuals. And hello, welcome. And just so you know, because these are young cats that are doing it, and I'm really proud to have them on, as well as Danger. I'm very happy to have them. So this question goes out to whoever wants to answer. Back in the day, there was a term in hip-hop called sellout. What did that mean, and what does that mean now? I think I'll give it to Danger, if Danger can answer that one.
I would say doing something out of character to be someone else. For an example, say if I'm some thug or something like that. What I'll do is maybe put on a clown suit or do whatever it takes to make money or get a bigger reception from the current audience or something like that. Just do something that it's not for you, but doing it for the money, basically.
You want to add something, Ramon? No, take the mic and just...
I was just going to say the same thing he said, like, you're selling out. You first started with a mission, and then as soon as somebody put money to you to go do it, then you change your whole demeanor. So that's what a sellout is, to me.
Right. You want to take a stab at it, Narcotic, or are you pretty much in agreement?
Yeah, it's just like, you know, you're willing to change your views on what you are and what you do just to make a little money, you know what I mean? Or go about it so everybody else can want to see you pretty much become your demographic, you know what I mean?
Right. So, so you guys pretty much think that, you know, it's still, you know, that the term sell out. I remember it being like a little more prominent before, because now it's like, it seems like, now it seems like the younger folks like pretty much think it's okay to, you know, everything's, well, it's money, I'm getting money, you know. So do you still think that, you know, it's relevant if someone's a sellout or not? Or do you think that, like, I'm talking about hip hop in general, like the images you see, do you think there's any sellouts today, and do you think that that's more normal, quote unquote normal?
Definitely. My version of a sellout is, it's still the same. You're just going out of character to do whatever it takes to make money. But the things that were, I would say, probably cool, like the way that you dress, it was your own being original. Now it's what you see on TV and what's projected towards you. Hey, I'm gonna look just like this person. So now you don't have your own originality. You're just trying to look just like the next person. So all three of us are dressing the same, and if he dressed different, now he's the oddball instead of him being the creative one. And that's my version of still kind of like being a sellout. You're not going along. No, you are going along to get along, basically. What do you think, Catch?
I would agree, and I think you know, as far as examples of that, I think the majority of what's popular in hip hop right now are probably kind of examples of that. With very few exceptions. There's not a lot of artists you see that kind of go against the norm that get embraced by the public.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
And can I add on to that too?
You sure can.
And also, it's funny because a lot of the artists that are really making the money, they probably really do have a creative side to things, but the labels that are making the money are directing them to do a certain thing. Like say if I'm an artist and I might have, say if my mother passed and I want to do something and maybe a real passionate song, the label will say, no, we want to talk about how tight your jeans are, and you're gonna put it out like that. And even though that I can be strong and say, I want to do it like this, they'll say, look, the contract says for you to do this type of music, and you're stuck doing it because, you know, I got bills to pay. And unfortunately, that's the way of music, the way it's going. It's all about money, it's all about branding, it's not really much about originality or anything like that.
Now, I even think that speaks to the larger issue of the fact that we don't really control hip-hop, meaning that the record labels and whatnot, we don't really have any record labels, so we don't really get to dictate how much creative control these artists who are on that scale are getting. So I think, you know, as far as a response to that, we need to be more supportive of cats like Dane who are trying to, you know, take ownership of this and not just be like in the front, but, you know, working behind the scenes, doing the business and the entrepreneurial aspects of this. We definitely need more of that, and we need to support that when we see that.
Thank you. Great answers. Next question. Groups like Public Enemy, KRS-One inspired a movement in hip-hop. Is there anyone relative to that today that are doing the same type of things? Or if someone could speak about, well, first of all, you know, do you feel that those artists were making the movement, and talk about the movement, and then maybe talk about if there's anyone relative to that today? Anyone want to go for that?
Yeah, I think, you know, I was very inspired, you know, by artists like Public Enemy and KRS-One, and I think currently probably the closest example we would have to that might be somebody like a Lupe Fiasco, who isn't necessarily Chuck D, but he's at least at that level where like, you know, he's visible and he's saying something. And you know, you saw what kind of trouble he got into with his label for trying to be an outspoken artist.
There is another group too that it's different from a lot that I've seen. Odd Future. Have you guys ever seen or heard of him before?
Odd Future, you guys?
Yeah. Like people be thinking that they like, oh, the man disrespectful and stuff like that, but they're different. I kind of like their music too. It's not that bad.
Not that bad.
It's not that bad.
No, I'm just laughing at you.
Yeah, Odd Future. As far as the content, they're probably not the same as Public Enemy, but the fact that, you know, these young cats went against everything that they saw in the mainstream and said we're gonna do our thing, and we're able to get such a strong following off that, I got a lot of respect for that. And you know, cats do got some hot beats.
And they're having fun with it too. That's the main thing.
Right.
Good answer.
Yeah, they, you know, KRS-One, Public Enemy, they got the movement they started. Well, a couple years ago, KRS-One was trying to bring back the Stop the Violence movement. I know Chameleon that was on it, but not a whole lot of people jumped on board with that, and nobody really knew about it, you know what I mean? And it just kind of shows, like, how much control the industry has over it all, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's hearing it. Back then. There was a little more creativity involved with the music opposed to as of now, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, they're trying to do their thing. Still, even KRS-One's still out there, still doing his thing, still making records. Public Enemy too, they're still doing their thing. The Roots, and nobody really knows about it. At least not the younger generations know about it. You know what I mean?
Danger, do you have anything to add? Or are you okay?
I would just say basically, just show of hands, how many people listen to 94.5 here? Have you ever heard Public Enemy on 94.5?
Do you guys know who Public Enemy is? Raise your hands if you know. Okay.
Raise your hand if you're under 25 and you heard of Public Enemy.
Okay. It's okay.
And see, the thing is, it's like Public Enemy gave you a chance to listen, and you're listening to words, but it sounds funny. You're hearing it repetitively, but you're also thinking. And I think, like a lot of the mainstream radio don't play music like that for you to actually think. You know what I mean? A lot of the music that you hear, you go by the rhythm or the beat, and that's about it. You're not learning anything. There's nothing for you even to think about. You're just listening to it, and dancing, and say, hey, I'm going to go out and go buy a sweatshirt that says this, and that's about it. You know what I mean?
Once again, how many under 25 know who Public Enemy is? How many under 25 know who Flavor Flav is?
Ah, that's a good question.
Exactly.
Sell out.
Sorry. So Flavor Flav used to be Public Enemy. He was from Public Enemy. You know what I mean? Once again, y'all see him promoted in the media as Flavor Flav. You know what I mean? But not anything with Public Enemy. So. Yeah, he was the hype man, but he was still in it. You know what I mean? But you don't hear none of that now, as far as what's in the media. You know what I mean? Unless you were there when it happened.
All right, well, we have a new attendee to our panel. Looking good, looking good. So it's okay, we're just having a conversation, and we're so glad you can join us. If you can give us your name, what you do, and also your first introduction to hip-hop.
Okay, well, my name's Acrobatic. What's up, everybody? I apologize for being late, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad I made it. Glad to see who I'm up here with. Some good company all over the place. You know, I'm an MC from Boston and been doing my thing for a pretty long time now, and just started off in Dorchester, Common Square area where I grew up, and you know, I'm trying to like talk and catch my breath.
Breathe.
From running in here. But you know, the older kids in my neighborhood would hit me with like mixtapes and stuff like that, and they had like all the old school cats on them. I don't want to say how old school they were, but old school cats, like, you know, like the Run DMC and EPMD and all that stuff that a lot of us came up on. And that, I think, this one particular cat, his name was Terrence, and you might know him as T. Clark.
Oh, yeah.
T. Clark's my homie, and he always still tells me the story about how he remembers when I came home from the hospital. You know what I'm saying? So that lets you know who's older than me. But he was a guy. He used to come to me with tapes all the time, and I would listen to him and like try to turn my style into Kool Moe Dee's style or whoever it was I was listening to at the time. And you know, somehow that developed into me going to studios and stuff like that, making songs. And you know, from there, I dropped out of college and turned into a rapper. And so I'm here now, you know, but not that that's the thing to do. I'm just saying that's what happened to me. But you know, it's been fun. I'm definitely glad to see some people that are interested in the, you know, preservation and just general discussion of hip hop culture, and you know, talking about how we can make it better, because I think that is a pretty general consensus that we all feel like things could be better in the hip-hop community and in hip-hop music. What's up, brother? It's my dude right here. This is the Dorchester Connection, Cobden Square once again. My man Stroh.
Yes.
But so we're good. You know, I'm just glad to be here with y'all, and you know, it's been an eventful year for me. You know, so to even just be out here and kicking it with y'all, it's a good feeling.
It's a beautiful thing.
So
Yes.
I'm here to add whatever I can to the discussion.
Thank you. So glad to have you. Acrobatic. So we're going to hear more from him later. And we have some more folks coming in. They came straight from work. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to continue on the panel questions. If you don't mind moving down a little bit more so he can come in. Okay, so introduction, who you are, what you do, and what's your first introduction to hip-hop?
Alright, I'm Essex of IW Crew, Dorchester representative, Dorchester University. My first introduction to hip-hop was my uncle spinning records, you know, to me. De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, stuff like that, Jungle Brothers. And then, you know, by the time I became a young pup old enough to write, you know, rappers in the community like this guy, you know, that I've seen, you know what I'm saying, helped me to start to make beats for ourselves and stuff like that. Me and my man Stroh right here, guys.
Yeah, Stroh, IW, Dorchester representation, you know what I mean? Same thing, Dorchester University, that's the name of our thing we get down with. But how I started on the hip hop, like I guess in the 80s, listening to, like you said, records and going out and buying cassettes and stuff like that and being a fan, really. That's how it all started with me, you know what I mean? Being a fan of hip hop. So, you know, and after that, like, I guess I messed with Essex and we just started doing the writing rhymes and, you know, in the early 90s. And like, as far as the beat stuff goes, I met him right here, Acrobatic, you know what I mean? And he was making beats over in Common Square and he told me which equipment to buy and, you know what I mean? It jumped off like that. So, you know, that was like probably 90. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone right there.
A minute ago.
That's what it is, though.
It's all good. Well, okay, now we have my complete panel. Why don't you give a round of applause for the panel so far? Coming out on this so-called stormy day. So I was very particular with the panel. I wanted a nice representative of, as I say, mature hip-hop heads and younger cats, because, you know, like I said earlier, there's a disconnect, I feel, between that. So we're just going to continue the conversation. We had some really good responses from half the panel, so I just want to throw that last question at the newer side of the panel, and then we're going to move on with the following question, and then hopefully some questions and answers from the audience. So these three right here. The question I gave out, groups like Public Enemy, KRS-One, inspired a movement in hip-hop. Is there anyone like that today?
Yeah, I think that there's people like that, but those people don't get the same type of support that the cats who are doing it in that era, you know. I mean, a lot of those cats are still, I mean, Public Enemy still makes music all the time, you know what I mean? And the support base is different, you know. Some of the fans got older, but then also there's just been kind of a shift from just music that has any type of like enlightening overtones in it, you know what I'm saying? Like anything that sounds like it's gonna start making people smarter or think about what's getting pulled over their eyes is not gonna really get a lot of support. That's just where we're at with music, especially urban music, unfortunately, and you know, people are gonna have their own theories on why that is, but that's a pretty sad thing to me, you know. I think that cats like Talib Kweli, you know, he came out and was really on it, like, let's do this movement. And I think that after a couple of years of not having a whole bunch of support like he thought he might, he got a little frustrated with that. You know what I mean? And now it's not so much about that. He's still a great entertainer, incredible lyricist, and all those things.
You
but
have a song with him too, right?
yeah, I do have a song with him on my last album.
What's my favorite one?
Thank you. But I'm just saying that, you know, the whole thing of like some type of revolution through hip-hop music is a concept that is almost like hip-hop was pretty much founded on that, and now it's kind of frowned upon. It's like anybody that's saying anything that's stopping us from having our wild, ignorant fun is a hater, and we're not trying to hear what they have to say. And that's pretty much the hip-hop attitude right now in a lot of, you know, demographics. You know, not everyone, obviously. That's why we're here. There could be thousands of rooms like this all over the world, and that's all cool. We're out here. But it's like, we're the 1%. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about the 1% concept is that those people have just as much right to stand up for what they feel as the 99% who are just taking whatever's thrown in front of them. So, you know, you just gotta find those cats like Public Enemy, and find those cats like Kweli, and find those cats like Black Thought from the Roots, and, you know, listen to what cats are saying, you know, Damian Marley, Nas, you know, like, cats are out there.
These folks up here too, you might want to get information from them as well, because we have MCs, graffiti artists, promoters, like, this is, you know, who to look for too as well, because they're on the right path. Groups like Public Enemy, KRS-One inspired a movement in hip hop. Is there anyone like that today?
Well, yeah, okay. So, Public Enemy, KRS-One, they definitely had a very conscious, very, very Afrocentric movement going on. And I think it fluctuates. I think it goes and comes back, and it goes and comes back, because every now and then you're gonna have a cat who comes out and wants to speak some truth. You know what I'm saying? Every couple of years. But what's happening is there's so much out there right now. We were just talking about it in the cars. The cultural decay rate, I like to say, is so high that it's hard for you to get something out there, because the next thing is coming right behind it. And especially if you have a conscious overtones in your joint, you know what I'm saying, you're already in the back of the line just because you're conscious right there. So that's why a lot of conscious MCs, if you notice, like Ak was saying, I think he was hinting towards it before, they sneak in a club joint here and there, or they sneak in, you know what I'm saying, something to get it out real quick, so that, you know, oh, they heard this, let me see what else he has to say, you know what I'm saying. So I think it comes and goes. It's in cycles, you know what I'm saying. I think you're gonna have like the gangster rap stuff, it comes and goes. You know, right now it's fading away, I hope. So you know what I'm saying. But yeah, what you think?
So what was it? Groups like Public Enemy, KRS?
Just kind of saying, you know, those came off the top of my head. You know, I mean, there's the Roots, there's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that still exists. All that, but you know, it's like in the background too much. You know, that's my favorite type of like hip hop, basically. So it's just in the background, like, you know what I mean? Like when it should be more on the radio, like you said. But it's like the dumber you are, it's like the more they push you forward. I don't know what's up with that, but that's what it seems like it is, really.
I think you know, with hip hop is something that was, you know, founded on a movement and on a like meant to be something empowering, but it also, I think it represents a balance too, just like our people and what we're going through. So I think within that balance you have space for gangster rap, you have space for party rap, but what's wrong right now is that there is no balance. We're getting all party rap, and I don't dislike gangster rap. I actually miss gangster rap, because now that gangster rap is gone, we have this new skinny jean frat rap thing that I really can't relate to. You know what I mean? And I can relate to gangster rap records a lot more. So, I mean, like I said, I think we need a balance, you know. And for myself as an artist, I don't want to limit myself to like a quote unquote conscious record. Because maybe I want to go out and have a party, you know, go have a good time one night. Like I'm 22, but the balance, once again. You know what I mean?
Good point. So, Ramon? Yeah, sure can.
There are some...
Hold the mic close to your mouth.
I mean, there are some balanced ones that I was seeing. Like, I heard a song by Drake. You guys know Drake, right?
The kids know Drake.
Yeah. A lot of people know him. I mean,
Aubrey. His name's Aubrey.
Yeah. I heard a song from him yesterday, and he was just talking about life. Like, yeah, there's gangster rap and there's the skinny jean rap and all that, but there's also rappers who talk about everyday life and what they do, like when they break up with their girls, or what they do, how they get to the work and stuff like that. So there is an in between, I think,
There is a
in the new generation.
Okay.
And also too, I think the current landscape is not. I think there are a lot of things that get through that we don't acknowledge enough. As like Wayne's single right now, "How to Love," I think is a very positive and uplifting. Very positive and uplifting song for young women.
But it doesn't
and
get
it's
out
like
there.
one of the hottest records out right now. You know what I mean? So I think we should,
Make room for those type of songs.
Yeah, or just like recognize that there's some good that's coming out of it every now and again. The 3 songs Wayne put out before that one.
But it's true what you said, balance, that's the thing, because there's so many different types of genres of music, and usually when I tell people I didn't even introduce myself, by the way, I'm Nomadik, hello everybody, but I'm a DJ, promoter, and all that kind of stuff, but when, I say I spin hip-hop, I have to, let people know, I don't play hip-hop that disrespects women. As a woman DJ, I just don't, oh, okay, applause, good. Y'all feel me on that, that's good. But it's just, you gotta make your moves, but at the same time, you gotta be true to yourself, and at the same time, you gotta find ways to get into what's happening, but still not lose yourself, and that's just my little add to the panel, I guess. So, we don't have too much panel time. We want to open it up to question and answer. I just want to go through 2 more questions to kind of, I know everybody, you got a feel of where they're at right now, but I just want to have them share a couple more words. So I'm just going to throw 2 more questions. To the panelists that are affiliated or used to be affiliated with graffiti, that is an element of hip-hop. It is not necessarily a bad word that equals vandalism, which is what often people think. It is an art form, and Akoma, if you want to come up and talk about that too. Or his workshop he'll talk about as well. But if those panelists that were involved with that scene want to just talk a little bit about it and speak upon that element of hip hop, why is it important? And also, nowadays it's not just the vandalism, it's also, creating murals, and it's not, I guess it's in the eye of the beholder as well. So who wants to grab the mic on that? Go ahead.
Alright, I want to talk about graffiti. Yeah, that's one of my introductions into hip hop was graffiti, at a very young age. And graffiti is unlike any other element of hip hop in the way that the hierarchy is so respected. In rap per se, not everyone respects the elders, you know what I'm saying? But in graffiti, you'll be scared if a master walks through the door and you don't know him. It gets really deep in the way the respect comes down the line in graffiti. And I always looked at that wow, that's crazy. I would meet graffiti writers and be nervous to talk to them. I would meet rappers and be like, oh, that's cool. I'd just go up to them. But I meet graffiti writers and be like, it's crazy how it breaks down. And it's a lot of discipline. If you want to get nice, it's a lot of discipline, just like any other elements of the game. But graffiti taught me, it taught me, first of all, it taught me the street element of it, which is running away from the cops, basically. Okay? And getting your art out there by any means necessary. And then again, there's another element to graph where it's nowadays especially, where it's I can grab a piece of canvas and, I can sell it, I can print it, I can not get arrested, I can throw it on the internet and show it to a lot of people that normally wouldn't see it. And I was thinking before, oh snap, before I was just doing walls in my hood and only people I know would see it. Then you get to a point where it's either you're gonna travel or get other means to get your stuff out there, and it's a lot faster than, You can be sending your rap music to Japan every day and nobody's gonna listen to it. You send a piece over there and it's like, oh, it's on a website. You're like, what the heck happened? It's a whole different animal. But I think graffiti taught me to be humble. Definitely, that's the main thing it did for me. It taught me humbleness, and it taught me how to, if I really want to be nice at any part of hip hop, I gotta do it forever. So.
Okay, I think Danger. Want to say something?
Okay, for me, when back when I used to do graffiti, it was different than compared to music. Nowadays, almost anyone can do music, and some will like it, some won't. But if you were a graffiti writer and your work was really good, it stands out way above everyone else. You take myself, what I used to do is I used to study comic books. I used to read like the Hulk and everything. I would take the Hulk's hands and put them on like a b-boy's body or something like that. And people would look at it and I would have my own little trademark. And it was a little mystique to it. My tag name used to be Clash. And back in the days, you would have a name like Clash, One Ski, Rock on Bass, Ism, or something like that, all these things that you add on. But what it was the mystique, and someone would say, hey, that's his work. And it was, it wasn't about spray painting on trains or doing vandalism. It was putting your mark out there where people can see it, but you was unique and you was a talent that anyone can't do. It's hard work to be an artist. You know what I mean? You got the Picassos and stuff, but everyone just can't do that. You can't just pick up a pen or draw something. You know what I mean? You can, but it's not going to be way up there. And that's how, to me, graffiti would, it kind of was, an expression, but at the same time, people will recognize you and say, oh, that's that person, type of thing. So it was uniqueness compared to like, everybody able to do something like that. You know what I mean?
And the last question is, what other aspects in your life are inspired by hip hop, whether it be dress, language? You tell us.
It's funny. I still kind of consider myself hip hop because to me, hip hop is like a culture, the way that you live, basically. I am 41 and I still wear t-shirts, you know what I mean? This is Echo, and Echo does graffiti. The music I listen to, you take like Catch was talking about, still like gangster rap. Like I listen to gangster rap music, but to me it's kind of like watching an action movie. I'm not gonna listen to it and go and kill somebody the same way that you watch a movie. You know what I mean? You watch a movie. Still, I doodle. I do my graffiti. I stay consistent. Only thing I never did was rap. I DJ. I do something hip hop almost every day. You know what I mean?
DJ without headphones?
Yeah, with no headphones.
My whole life pretty much revolves around hip hop. I mean, even my first son, Antonio, his nickname's Tone, and it's pretty much because it's a music thing. It's Tone. You know what I mean? My arms covered in music tattoos, and everything I'm trying to do right now is pretty much just trying to get into hip hop full-fledged as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree that probably the majority of my life is influenced by hip hop in one way or another. The way I dress, the way I speak, the way I carry myself, everything.
Not my whole life is revolved around hip hop. Mainly my art. Focus that on hip hop. Because I don't dress all hood and stuff. I respect the people who dress all hood, but I wear hats like this. So. Then I guess I dress like hip hop.
If it's you, it's hip hop.
Then I guess it's hip hop. You know what I mean? I dress hip hop.
I mean, for me, I feel like as far as I can remember, my earliest memories of my life pretty much involved hip hop, so just from the very beginning, my brain just started to become a library bank of just sounds and lyrics and beats and, all different types of sound bites from hip hop, video clips from all the videos I used to watch on MTV Raps and Rap City when I was growing up. And You know, sometimes I'll be doing something as simple as washing the dishes, and I'll find a lyric that goes with that from some song and just start singing it. Next thing I know, it's karaoke in my kitchen, hip-hop karaoke. So I just feel like it's pretty much running through my bloodstream, and kind of just about anybody who in our generations that are all represented in here has had to, I mean, it's everywhere. It's in commercials. It's completely commercialized, so it would be hard not to, you know, be influenced in some way, you know. So I think it's pretty ubiquitous for me too.
It's always been in my life. I've never had it not in my life. So I don't even say like I do hip hop things, because I can't do it if I am it already. Like every aspect of my life is revolved around hip hop. Me and Strobe, we trivia each other all day, like with just random hip hop trivia questions, and I'm sure Act does it too with Kev. Just random who did the song in 19? Oh, who did that remix? And you got to know it, and it's like yeah.
Can't use your phone. Can't go Google it.
It's not a thing that it's not an hour of the day where I'm not thinking about something that has to do with.
Yeah, basically the same thing. I mean, it's everything to me. Like the talk, the way you dress. You know, I mean, everybody got their own way of dressing hip hop, but it's basically taking that and doing you with it, because it has a lot to do with originality too, not just biting this whatever somebody else is doing. You know, but you know, basically hip hop is like everything to me, from the sound to DJing. I could get like mesmerized by anything hip hop. Like my man right here, if he started cutting right here, I can't do that, but I be tripping over that. So you know, everything, like, yeah, just stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
it's all hip hop.
It's everything.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. So now we're gonna open it up to question. I know VCR, you had a question. Paula.
My question is a general. Actually, it's a two-part quick question. One, with all the explanation about the four original components of hip hop culture, how do you feel about the term hip hop? Being that sometimes the term can be misconstrued today, you know, as far as music, as far as anything else, where you have folks who will be like, I don't like hip hop, it's negative and this and that. But we all have our different definitions. But I was wondering, you know, dealing with the true definition that has been, you know, screwed around here and there. And my second question is, how do you feel about poetry? Knowing that you have the last poets and Gil Scott-Heron and those that paved the way for MCing and lyricism.
So who wants to take VCR's question?
First, in response to the term hip hop, I think, yeah, a lot of people I think will immediately associate it with just rap music, which is incorrect. But as far as the entire culture and all the elements, I think the same way a lot of the more positive rappers are underground and not seen so much publicly, I think it's the same thing with the other elements of hip hop. Those things are still very much alive and present. I know young teens that still do graffiti or are interested in DJing or b-boying. So I think that's still alive, but it's the same phenomenon as with more positive rappers who get mainstream work. As far as poetry, as you know, I came up doing poetry as well, very influenced and inspired by people like the last poets and Gil Scott-Heron, rest in peace. And I think we need to remember that more. You know, it's the new generation of hip hop and acknowledge those people more.
Does anyone else have an answer for that?
Excuse me. All right. So, yeah, like hip hop, it's automatically associated with rap. Automatically, is, you know, what kind of music is it? It's hip hop. It's different. You know what I mean? But because that's the view that it always catches, it's always a negative thing, because, you know, we see in TV like the way rappers are personified and it's all gangsters, it's all this, it's all that. It's not what it really is, you know what I mean? Nobody gets to see the true essence of what it is. They just see the surface, you know what I mean? And then as far as like poets, it's, they definitely paved the way, you know, for MCs. All it is poetry to a beat, you know what I mean? It's street poetry, you know what I'm saying? So, depending on the way people write, it's a little different, but, you know, it's a form of expression to get all the emotion and doing the how, and that's where it comes from.
I want to ask you guys about the bridge between rap and hip-hop and gospel. Is there a connection there? Can there be a connection there? It seems to me that the way of the world and the way that things are going now, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear about spirituality and so forth and so on, but the way that music is being performed today and all of these young brothers and sisters here, do you not think, or has it ever been proposed that a spectrum of gospel would uplift and perpetrate these young people to embrace who they are culturally, number one, and number two, to achieve their goals in a positive way through hip-hop and rap, and just keep some spirituality in it?
Thank you for the question.
I think there's a strong connection, and I even think that the way you just described gospel is pretty close to how I would describe hip-hop. Hip-hop is almost like our gospel. And then if you look at, on a larger scale, hip-hop being just a small segment of black culture that comes from a long line throughout history that, you know, was founded on gospel, rhythm and blues and things like that, I think there's definitely a direct link. And even for myself as an MC, I'm inspired a lot by, you know, how preachers preach, you know, and the tonal thing and where you pause at. And preachers are excellent MCs because they hold the crowd every Sunday and be getting the rocking. People be catching the Holy Ghost.
Okay,
thank you very
much. We're going to have Essex and then Michael. I want to hear from some of the other panelists too.
I'm sorry, Morgan and Mike. I just want to.
Go ahead.
I think the thing about hip hop and gospel is, if you really listen to hip hop, and I know it can be difficult at times because a lot of older folks, you know, have a hard time getting into it sometimes. No, I'm just saying.
Sure, audience.
But if you listen to a lot of the lyrics of a lot of rappers, a lot of rappers mention God in almost every song that they do at some point in their career. And they might not mention it in a way that the church is looking to look at or accepts. But most rappers, I say like 85% of rappers, have some, it might be just a sentence where they say, praise the Most High or something, but most rappers do give knowledge, you know, that there is a higher being and stuff like that.
Okay, acrobatic and then narcotic. Go ahead.
I just wanted to jump in on that one because it was such an interesting question, and it made me think, and listen to what these cats were saying made me think too. Like, I think that gospel obviously is a beautiful form of music. You know, Shirley Caesar's a distant cousin of mine. Like, I love gospel. I love gospel music. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, you have cats that have done it. Tupac has worked some gospel influence into his music. You know, Jesus Walks by Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's all types of underground cats in there. Exactly. The only thing I would say about it is this, and I'm not trying to like throw a wedge into anything. It's just that in America in general, not just in hip hop, but in America in general, we don't all agree on one religion. So which church do we listen to tell us how to put our spirituality into our music and have that be right in hip hop? I think if everybody puts a little dab of their own stuff, like the 5% cats, the Wu-Tang, you know what I'm saying? They throw it in there, the Rastafarians throw it in there. Just like Essex was saying, it's like everybody kind of has their own spirituality, you know what I mean? And that is why hip-hop itself can kind of transcend that and be gospel, you know, because everybody is accepted. And that, to me, that was the thing about hip-hop. It's like everybody come to the park because we gonna jam. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. Not just the people who believe in Buddha, not just the people who believe in Christ, not just the people who believe in Allah, all the people who believe in hip-hop. Come on down. and we're gonna rock.
Yep, that's
And
the
that is the strongest gospel to me. That's why I love hip hop so much. You know what I'm saying? That is it. You know, like, let's transcend all the other stuff that makes us different from each other, and let's focus on the one thing. Yeah, maybe you believe in God and this guy doesn't, or this guy does, but it's a different type of God. His God has 9 arms. Like, it doesn't matter. As long as you know that there's something bigger than you in this world, and it's not about you, and there's a power there, that can come into the music, into the culture, and that's what makes me think about, you hear these artists like, when people challenge them and they're like, the stuff you put in your music is corrupting the minds of the youths. We've been hearing that forever. We'll probably all come up here and say that about a lot of rappers. They're corrupting the minds of the youth. Those guys are going to be like, well, we blame it on the parents. You know what I mean? But it's like, so if the parents aren't capable, or if the parents are bad, or if the parents are not there, if they died or something like that, so they screw the kid? No. The hip-hop gospel says it takes a village to raise a child. We all get in here, we make music that's uplifting our people, and act like we got some sense.
There we go. Thank you, everybody.
And it can still be dope.
Yes.
And it can still be dope.
Exactly. Thank you. Narcotic has something to say. And then we really only have 5 minutes, so let's keep that in mind. You're going to be last question, and then we're going to move on to the panels. Go ahead. Workshop. Go ahead.
So it's like Acrobatic said, there is Christian rap, and a lot of samples and stuff comes from gospel, and you hear a lot of choruses sung by choir singers and people that are in the church, and even people that don't believe in God. There's a lot of rappers that do believe in Allah, and every acceptance speech you hear, first off, is I'd like to thank God. And even one of Q-Tip's CDs, as soon as you open the cover, first thing inside is I'd like to thank Allah. And it's not just because you don't hear it doesn't mean it's not there. Even if you don't hear it, it might not be that it's not there. It's just you're not necessarily listening the way that it's coming out. You want to hear it a certain way, and that's not what you hear. So, but it definitely is there.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Where you guys now are in the music business, do you feel like that's the right choice for you?
Good question. Who wants to tackle that one?
Okay, as far as music, it's totally different. In my opinion now, I think it's more about branding. Everything is a brand. Like your music, this is just my opinion, doesn't count as much as how marketable you are. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to see a non-model singer, you know what I mean, on TV. Those are the certain people they're looking for. They're like, oh, she's really pretty and she has a figure like this, so we're going to take this person. Oh, this person is really marketable. Let's hope that he can sing. Let's hope he can dance. Versus back in the days, it was your talent first and everything else is secondary. You can look like, Quasimodo, but if you can sing, and that's what counts. But now it's, oh, this person I can sell him to, he'll look good on a Coca-Cola commercial or something. So all that stuff counts. It's all about branding, not as much about talent anymore, in my opinion, as far as music.
This is a comment-in question. I love the panel, but I'm just disappointed there's no women on the panel. So I was just wondering about, what do you guys think about that? Why aren't there more women in hip-hop?
Yeah, I think females have always been underrepresented in hip-hop, not just as rappers, but just with all, jobs that come within the music industry. I think it's interesting, too, for example, right now, Nicki Minaj is probably one of the hottest female hip-hop artists in the game. She catches a lot of flack for her presentation or how she dresses or what she raps about a lot. And going back to the thing I was talking about before with the balance, if you had a Lauryn Hill to balance out a Nicki Minaj, it wouldn't be so problematic. And I don't think it's necessarily her fault that females are so underrepresented in hip-hop. Now, that being said, there's a lot of amazing female artists out there that you're not hearing about on the radio that you need to. I mean, locally, nationally, everywhere. And I can't even start the list because we'll be here all day. But look into it. Well, I'll just say this in short. Okay. I don't have any statistics or nothing like that. But it seems to me that there's more female purchasers of music, and it's funny. It's just like a female would like a male. I think that still reflects in business and music. And if men don't buy as much music as females, these big corporations are going to push men
more than females, unfortunately. But if there's a female that is catchy, like someone like Beyonce, she'll be pushed all day. But I just think that's a business aspect. Not saying there's not talented females. It's just all about business and what sells and what makes money, in my opinion.
Oh, hold on. Back is a little. Hey. Oh, I was ready. Thought about y'all for a second. I was in the zone. It was about to be on.
Niggas get on and swear it's in here. But yo, your girl just moved through the track in the club in the parking room. Brought up, the movement is on. Now in my knees, the majority is on. Hey, get your weight up, I'm out of your hurt. And I put a cat. We going, Jasmine, we going. So girl, over the ground. If you see your thing dog, a pound and just breathe us out for real. And give it what you got, just breathe us out for real.
I did this with the intent of just having a nice gathering of us, you know, discussing hip hop as we did in the panel discussion. Give it up for our panelists one more time. Thank you. And now we get to see them do their thing. See if they're, if they're not just talk, if they can rap and do the do. So, you're gonna see many of the performers that were on the panel and some other ones jump in too, okay?
Banging out your speakers, always coming with that conscious style like the poor righteous teachers. Strong arm and y'all are more like the weakest. I rock ish, not just being facetious. The beat this, truth is ugly like the streets is. Concrete being hard like the beats is. You not where my reach is, but to each his own. Keep your beliefs and you don't, better leave it alone. I'll
so special, I'm my own paraprofessional. Stay in front of the period and zeros like a decimal. Growing up from Boston in the garden like a vegetable. The smooth thought will hit your heart and lower your cholesterol. I'm the best of all, murder any melody. And every time I get up in the booth, it's like a felony. The last white hope, like John F. Kennedy.
Picking up the pen to write these words to be recited. Watching cinephans go round and blowing the smoke up in my eyes. And got that instrumental giving me a perfect reason for rhyming. So the ball point the sheets for the beat beats and 4/4 timing. It was 1979 when I awoke from my slumber. Now reached them dirty 30s, but proving age is just a number.
Who you know fresher than strobe, riddle me that. If you ever imitated this, you'll be whack. If you ever went against my flow, you won't win. And if you ever try to test my brain, it'll react. Who could be fresh? Who could be lyrical? Who could be dope? Who could be musical? Who could be nice? Who could be beautiful? Who could be word?
And I didn't come to lay this swag out. I'm a leading pitcher, man. Give you a bat out. Ready to slap a stupid person with their hand out. I got the red theme. I keep my rap life planned out.
I'm very excited to announce the next performer. He wasn't sure if he was going to do his thing for various reasons, but he has agreed, and I feel it's because he's inspired from all the hip-hop love we got going on in here tonight. So it is my great pleasure to bring to the stage one of my favorite, even before I even started to DJ or be in the radio, or even my name was Nomadik. I was a big fan of this gentleman. Right here, the one and only Acrobatic.
What up? How y'all doing? There's no way I could really come in here and watch all these contributions and not contribute something, you know what I'm saying? Aurora and Strobe and Genevieve and Chin and Catch Wreck, all great lyricists. I heard a lot of nice rhymes up there and I was, kind of feeling it. So, I'll share something with y'all real quick. This is the first time I've picked up a microphone to rap in front of people in 6 months.
So this one's called Introduction to Brave Life. Just an introduction to myself. So for people who don't know me. And that's why I did that twirl.